Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Kyuranger episode 14 and 15, I believe. If I got the numbers wrong here, they'll be right in the description and whatnot. But, so I had to double up this week. I haven't had to do this in quite a while, but last week, Kyuranger didn't come out for me until super late. And I usually like to try to get these reviews out on a Wednesday or a Thursday, Friday at the latest. But between it being late, and then me not having a chance to watch it as like Friday through the weekend hit, and then needing to get actual other reviews out, I just decided to push it. It didn't hurt that the last week's episode 14 was kind of a dud anyway, so yeah. Anyway, so these episodes. Let's go over the first one first, because that makes sense. So 14, if that's the right number, was basically a Gauru-focused episode, mainly focusing on him believing he had bad luck, because he wasn't getting picked for the Q-let, and then also when he was out there in the field, finally, in this episode, he kept messing up. And it really wasn't that good of an episode. It kind of had all that classic toku humor, that just pushes my buttons of like, this is not funny. This is like possibly the most unfunny thing that could happen. And it was just obnoxious, and like, I'm just not a fan of that humor. And it doesn't help that it's one of those episodes that feels like there's a decent episode buried underneath it, meaning that I would have loved to have a Gauru-focused episode. I think there could have been something cool there. I don't know if necessarily basing it around luck was the right choice, because that's Lucky's bit, and I get going for the opposite way. But maybe make it like, I don't know how the Q-let choosing will be put in there, but maybe make it like he just doesn't feel as skilled as the others or something, or feels like he's messing up. And just, they could have basically made it a pretty decent character focus episode around that, but it was too buried in stupid toku gags, and I hate when that happens. I like when they actually decide to put the character choices and character development first, and then sprinkle in little bits of humor if you want to, but I hate when they put the gag first. So that was kind of a letdown that I think that was the first Gauru focus episode we got, was kind of stupid. I was mildly amused by I cannot talk in this one, I just said some of the things. Some of the things the commander was doing in terms of like, twisting Raptor's words into solutions, and like, I've kind of just been enjoying the commander and the way he operates, but other than that it was just weird. And Gauru dressed up, he had cross-dressed, which is like a pretty classic Toku thing, and like the lips on the end of it reminded me of that one like lip alien that's been added in Return of the Jedi, but I wasn't a fan of the episode. I'd probably give it a 5. Now this week's was actually pretty decent. It was better than I thought it was going to be when it started. For one, we actually went off-planet. The two other Kyutama we're looking for, unless I misread it or whatever, but I believe it's both of them and not just the one, but are off-planet, which is really cool. And this episode was like a classic example of what I've been talking about for a while in terms of off-planet, is that they don't have to do much. Granted, it would be great if they could try harder to make it seem like another planet, because there's been shows with similar or less budget that have done more, but still, my point stands from weeks ago when I said, you know what, you don't have to go out of your way to make it look like another planet, because in the first episodes it was very minimal stuff. It was the same here. It was basically just a beach on this planet, obviously, and then villagers that wore vaguely foreign-looking clothes. And that's honestly all I'm asking for. Like I said, I would love better, but just that made me feel like we're on another planet and we're doing a bit of actual space exploring. And I like the idea of the Kyurangers gaining a reputation as heroes throughout the galaxy and not just, or the universe or whatever, not just Earth. And I was actually really surprised that there wasn't a, like, I guess because Champ and Stinger are there and they can still have other members to go back if Earth needs them, but I was really surprised there wasn't a, Earth needs us. Like, I was waiting for it. Like, oh, what are we doing? We're Tom Haverford. Like, yeah, that was Emma, really. But I was waiting for that, and it didn't happen. But so, it was really neat to actually get that, and I would love for the series to have been that, where we're going to different planets. I loved that feel. It was nice. And Naga, like, infiltrated the villagers and was, like, almost brainwashed himself. Like, I found that kind of hilarious. Like, I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I mentioned one of these reviews, but I think one of the greatest mysteries of Kyuranger is, what even is Naga? Like, for real. But so, I liked that. There was a little bit of, like, nice Hammy backstory. It was a little, generic, and it would have been nice to get something a little more, but it was basically about how she used to be shy when she was little, and it was her having to gain the courage to warn her fellow students and teacher that the dark matter were coming, that had her start to get out of her shell a little bit, which is kind of a nice backstory beat. It was certainly a lot more well done than Gauru's. Now, Gauru's wasn't about backstory, but his focus episode was cluttered with stupid humor, whereas Hammy's, when they actually wanted to do a character moment, they actually quieted it down and made it feel like a nice character moment. So I appreciated that. Like I said, the Naga stuff was pretty funny. And something else I appreciated in this episode is they actually touched on Champ and Stinger's story back on Earth searching for his brother, which was really nice. It was basically leading up to the confrontation at the end, which is going to lead into next week. And I thought that was really well done. I think it was last week's review I was saying that it would be cool to get an episode just focused on them and then maybe one on Kotaro, but I didn't think we would do that. And this is basically what I thought would happen. We haven't gotten to Kotaro yet. That'll probably be after the Stinger stuff. Sorry, I lost train of thought for a second. But it was just kind of nice, and it was kind of roughly what I thought would happen is we would have an episode going on and then something in the background. And it was just kind of nice to not have that be forgotten. And it was also kind of just nice for the mix of the episode to have it basically be a filler with a little bit of character story, but there was actually like a plot reason for them to be there, so it wasn't like a total waste. You know, they were going after that Kyutama, but then also you had another plot running in the background that they didn't forget about. So I feel like I'm talking about it like it's more amazing than it is, because it's all pretty just decent. It's nothing like, oh my god, this was amazing. But after Zyuohger and Ninja were so bad at keeping their writing consistent and making it feel like it was going chronologically, if that makes any sense. I'm just really appreciative that they actually not only managed to keep the story going, but actually were reaching important parts already, so that was really refreshing. I don't think I have too much else to say about this episode. Overall, I thought the second episode was a lot better. I'd probably give it about a 7. Solid stuff. It was just kind of sort of fillery, but they actually got some stuff done, and like I said, it's weird because it's just so, it's average. It really is average, but after these last few years, I really am appreciative, and I hope that this trend continues, that it's just a little more consistent, and I appreciate the plot's actually ongoing, and it actually does make nice use of the large team to have, like, the main plot with core rangers, and then make use of the other ones doing other things elsewhere. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure to the Crazy Podcast at writersradiorambles.com, and of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Dawson Rider.